Alright, let's get this patch note rundown going. Patch 12.20 is out. I have to play finals on it. It is failing to detect the client. There we go. I hate that. So we've got to know what's going on with the patch. Actually, why would I do it in client, right? Why would I do it in client? When I could get a larger thing here. So many tabs open. What's up, Noshi? Good to see you. Okay, so as usual, before we jump into patch 12.20, we have to reflect on patch 12.19 to see if I was correct. Okay, so actually, I may as well pull up patch 12.19 as well. Just double check that I just need to wrap it up. Thought you were ending stream. Nope, we're doing our quick patch note rundown. So what do we have? The Syndra mid-scope came out. I said it would make her much, much stronger in general. Syndra's a staple of coordinated play. When she's strong, this will 100% help her a lot. Everything else compensates. That turned out to be true. The thing that I didn't predict immediately was the fact that she takes a lot longer to scale. And there is still, some Syndra 80 carry stuff to check. I didn't think it would be extra viable because I still felt that this passive was like reasonably level based, but I guess if you're just giga skirmishing constantly, maybe. I don't know. Basically, it left us with something that is worth investigating. Investigate Syndra bot lane. I don't see a lot of support value right now, to be honest. Much better than before. Then we had the Blitzcrank changes, which I predicted would be like, you know, I think Blitzcrank jungle is legitimate. It has weaknesses, it has strengths. And given what I've seen over the last few weeks, I think I stand by that, right? That was really funny. That was really funny, but I probably, like... Syndra was so much better at that when her Q cooldown was 4 seconds, right? There's a lot of things that Syndra was better at when the Q cooldown was 4 seconds. New Blitz is funny, yes, but I still stand by the fact that he has, like, some competitive viability. Like, the big thing that sucks for him is he's just weak to invades because his cooldowns are so long, but that's not always punished, especially in Platinum Leagues. Like, we're terrible. We're terrible players, so Blitzcrank probably works a lot better. I didn't follow up much on the Echo changes. I mean, I said this looks nice, but wouldn't create more opportunities to draft Echo, right? It's harder to punish weak jungles. That's true, but Blitzcrank in particular is really a sitting duck. Yeah, Fiddlesticks has the benefit of just being stupid fast, too. Blitzcrank is fast, but not on every camp. Like, you can't reasonably take the Raptors immediately on first clear. Or if you do, you're low health, and then you're even more invadable. Different champions, right? So, of course, Blitzcrank's lanes can protect him a little bit, but the thing you also have to remember is that there are just certain junglers that don't care. They'll just run in, kill the jungler before side lanes can collapse. Like, there's not a lot of those, but they do exist, and since they exist, then Blitzcrank has to be careful. And he's not fast enough to deflect them like Fiddlesticks is. Called the entire... I'm terrible, Mel! Like, holy shit! Do you see my gameplay sometimes? I'm bad, Diamond is bad, Masters is bad. Like, the fact that I was at 1 point Diamond is a testament to how bad Diamond was. Like, not enough fly swatters. Like, imagine the Warwick from today and we're running Blitzcrank jungle. No thanks. So yeah, I didn't follow up much on Echo. Actually, oh, I have, because I think this change is going to be like really solo queue based. I think it's actually, we can check here. Okay, solo queue players definitely enjoyed Echo. If you have a good Echo player, you can probably throw them a bone, right? Let them play their champion. Beautiful. This I didn't think could matter. We did end up exposing ourselves to that one Fizz angle, like Fizz versus Syndra, because we didn't draft the initiator necessary to deal with Fizz mid-game. So I didn't think a small damage increase would solve his problems, and I mean, I've said this before, the thing that would make Fizz really viable is if he just becomes Maiev from Heroes of the Storm. Just make his E a really short cooldown and let him be a pseudo-tank. It helps his wave clear. That's actually a good point. That's actually a good point. So he gets on the map a little more. What I said before is that the small damage increase doesn't solve any problems. Actually, I have now been proven wrong. Slight wave clear increase actually gave Fizz more viable angles. And actually a deeper understanding of the champion from losing to him. I know where to look for it now. Okay. Garen, we were talking to our Garen players, and they don't think this was enough to make Crit Garen the dominant build, and I agreed with them, and I don't think that's changed. Jinx, I said early AD up on a champion with 110% AD ratio is good. Predicting a small increase in Jinx priority when meta ADCs eat bans. I think Lucian rising back to prominence, which I didn't factor in before, is obviously an issue for her as we saw today. But I mean, I'm still reasonably satisfied with Jinx. I don't think this is a bad champion. I think she's a fine champion. And actually, I was right. We do start seeing her more when bans start coming through. Right? How's Jinx Lulu into Lucian Nami? It's probably the best way to run Jinx into Lucian Nami. Like, it's just Guardian users. Yeah, that's how you beat it. Guardian users an immediate turnaround while Lucian's cooldowns are... Like you survive his burst, you retaliate with long trade. It's weird. Like... Let me think about this. Lucian Nami is obviously not unbeatable. There are answers into it. And so it keeps, like, coming and going in popularity. MF and Mumu, probably pretty solid. I was just saying I love Draven. I was about to leak my... I can't leak everything into you. I can't leak everything into you. But no, Draven's one of my favorites, for sure. I need to get to the actual patch notes. I can't get too distracted. I love that we're having productive conversations, but... Kaisa said this... I said this practically means 1% max HP damage on Nashor's completion. AP Kaisa still does not have, like, a huge place. So minimal impact expected. Her win rate went down slightly as people started to try to take advantage of that. Malphite, I failed to follow up, so I'm going to have to keep this on my watch list. I said if this meaningfully affects Malphite, it's because he's given Everfrost Rush situations, like more into some more difficult matchups. I didn't follow up. Master Yi, I said this was probably negligible. If Solo Q, did Solo Q? Solo Q cared a little bit. I said it probably wouldn't matter because his builds don't hyper-focus on AD anyway. Maybe some people were still doing Duskblade. Nasus, we don't even have to talk about this. We know how much stronger Nasus is after the changes. Just friggin' ridiculous. Did Nunu start scaling? No, he didn't. He actually did not. I said Nunu could actually have some value. It was obviously a solo Q buff, but if he scales a little better. Realistically, I don't think I was super wrong about anything here, you know? It was like... Shyvana. Unfortunately, I have to use solo Q data here. Did it matter? How much did it hurt? This is Frostfire. Frostfire still at 53.75%. But is everything demonic now? Oh, it is. Okay, so Shyvana got pushed. She did actually get a little more. Probably ought to learn Draven. Dude, Malphite is so broken. Like... Riot has this weird habit of, like, buffing niche champions to make them generally pickable. And that scares me. Like, Janna is one of the most fucking broken champions in the entire game. You just can't blind her. Does that mean Janna should get buffed? Hell no, it doesn't, but it could happen with, like, Riot's balance philosophy. Yeah, Draven is very, very difficult to pick up. Like, his skill floor is really high. Okay, so, I mean, I guess I didn't actually spend the time answering any questions. I guess I was too busy. We didn't finish the Twitch wave clear check. Shyvana. Shyvana was definitely pushed towards AP with these changes. Tank did get weakened. Alright, I'm just gonna, like, actually conclude that. And if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. Whatever. Okay. This has reminded me to make, like, an actual follow-up list, or, like, an actual watch list, and keep it updated. 1220, what do we have? Aatrox's passive not only gives him tons of damage, but also tons of healing when lethality amplifies his % max health damage. The Eclipse nerfs did weaken him a little. He's still too powerful. When picking up Eclipse and Gore Drinker, we're taking his healing down. Minus 20%. Okay, so what we need to do is, why would I even do this? He's right here. How much damage is this actually dealing? It's just a big chunk of % max health damage, and... I mean, isn't most of his healing from Q, anyway? Yeah, no, you can't expect anything from supports down there. Does this matter that much? Like... Because the core... I mean, this doesn't change the fact that Eclipse does the most damage. This doesn't change the fact that his Q healing is absurd with Pen. Patch 1220. Champion changes. Aatrox. Passive healing reduced by 20%. Damage and Q healing unchanged. Very unlikely to hit enough of Aatrox's healing to make a significant difference unless compounded by being the champion most affected by Eclipse changes. That's what I'm gonna say. That's what I'm gonna say. Does Aatrox Q heal? Yes, Aatrox heals for all of his damage. That's just kind of what he does, right? Well, where's the actual text, right? Because this just explains the healing on Deathbringer stance. Well, that's actually the whole reason. That's actually the whole reason that Aatrox is building Eclipse, because everything heals, right? And here it is. Yeah, it's his E passive. That's what it is. Aatrox heals for a proportion of non-persistent post-mitigation damage he deals against enemy champions, increased during World Ender. This is it. Senna's such a cool champion. I should not have picked her game 3, but game 2 was awesome. Okay, so no, I mean, if we're not touching E passive, then I don't think this can matter. Yes! Akshan Trundle! Let's go! Let's go! Okay. Very funny E buff with few practical implications. May create situational combos with Trundle, Ornn, etc. Like, that's not really a buff. It's just Akshan players deserve this, right? No, I didn't actually play it myself. My friend and I, we had an Akshan Brahm cheese lane. Just because Eve immediately stuns. That one was funny. I didn't play a lot of Trundle support. I kind of missed that era. Both of them. I missed the Season 6 variant and the last one were... Okay, Blitzcrank is getting some changes. Last patch changes, they succeeded in giving Jungle Blitzcrank a try. It's still not as strong as we'd like it to be. The changes supercharged his strength as a support. I mean, makes a little bit of sense. Yeah, I can see that. Damage to monsters now goes up to 220. It scales much faster early game. How does it scale right now? Let's find out. It's plus 20 per level? Hang on. Oh my goodness! What the... That's a plus 13 on hit buff at level 2. And like, not to mention level 3, like... Oh, no. What? It's like... That's plus 26 on hit at level 3. What is going on? Okay, so Mana Barrier can now get stronger if... I mean, is this supposed to be for top lane Blitzcrank? Maybe. Base attack speed is down, yes. Base AD is down, yes. That matters, but not for this. They're reducing the AD scaling, which definitely sucks because this was, like, the entire reason that shoulder guards were better on Blitzcrank. This is funny, but why? Okay, so it's gonna be worth doing the math on Relic versus shoulder guards again, I guess, for Blitzcrank support. Shoulder guards slightly weakened. Must compare against Relic again. Blitzcrank now less durable with fewer levels. Shouldn't matter too much given his purpose in a game. Clear is giga buffed. W level scaling versus monsters now scales way too fast. So that's kind of funny. Hav Blitz support tech, let's go. Might actually have some merit, not unironically. No, this literally just blasts the minion in this space when you kill it, which is so funny. I mean, so yeah, I guess I didn't factor in how the percent health damage would help Blitzcrank in combat in bot lane. It might have some merit against tanky responses, like probably never against enchanters. What's the point? Okay, so Blitzcrank jungle might unironically I mean, he might now be Fiddlesticks, right? He might actually pass that clear threshold where he's just too fast for invaders to get to him. As long as you're like, as long as you know what your windows are and like you know how to reverse clear and stuff like that, he's probably actually just good. We'll stress test this. We'll definitely stress test this. Right. I'm waiting on Nico. Oh, I hope Nico's transformation mechanics get amplified. I love Nico. Speed Nico was one of my favorite things to play in this entire game. Back when like Shirelia's Righteous Glory, Predator. Oh, it was so nice. This is not something that I can properly assess the impact of. Q range is slightly shorter than her auto attack range. Okay. Slight range increase. Likely to be a QOL. I mean, Elisa's already in the context of what she does good. It's just picking her competitively is really scary. Eve. What is this? Okay. Wait, why is she getting a charm duration up? Chat, was this not one of the assassins who was, like, least impacted by the durability update? Isn't that what we said, like, on 1210? Because she's also one of the few assassins who's, like, fine to burst tanks, as long as she's given time to scale. I can understand how, like, in the context of solo... Yeah, she does. She has, like, this friggin' free Void Staff on W max second. Like, it's not always correct to max W second, but... Oh, wait, that was... Lolwiki. It's not always correct to max W second. Like, you should go E second a lot, but... Like... That's kind of a lot. Okay, so... Evelyn now crosses the reliability threshold at rank 2W for her teammates. I don't know who would profit from that, who can also be an Evelyn partner, but... Okay. Charm crosses reliability threshold 1 rank sooner. Look for valid partners, and then that's just Hate Spike receives plus 15 damage over 3 casts because the AP ratio didn't go up. Yep, that's right. Okay, so the reliability threshold is a concept where this number, 1.5 seconds of CC, is what it takes to turn an unreliable skill shot into a reliable skill shot. So, Renekton W has at least 1.5 seconds. It makes Nidalee Spears reliable, right? It makes Talia W reliable. So whenever you see a, like, CC duration get buffed or nerfed, if it goes above or below 1.5 seconds, that's a big deal. Now, because Eve, like, usually the unreliable skill shots are on, like, magic damage champions, it's kind of hard. I mean, who would be the partner for that, for Evelyn? Who would be the partner for that? Yasuo Tornado? I mean, that's kind of stupid to pair Evelyn Yasuo. Doesn't really make sense, but... Ashe ultimates? I mean, it's good for Thresh Hook. He doesn't really care who his damage partner is. Like, Evelyn and Twisted Fate can be... I think it's everyone. Yeah, it's reduction. It's not penetration, it's reduction, so it's everyone. Basically, yeah. It lasts long enough for any skill shot to land, as long as you follow up right away. Right. Can we just do a Lux? It's scary just because, remember, jungle rule constraints. Or jungle role constraints. Like, champions who don't necessarily need to be solo AP often become solo AP because they're a jungler. Other CC effects that... Okay, yeah, because Renekton W is a really good setup. If it's support Lux, does that still apply? The way I typically view support is that support never, like... Support mages are never harmed by everyone else having magic damage, but they are most likely to harm somebody else. I think it's likely that if you see Evelyn plus Lux, is that enough? Depends on how insane your marksmen are. Like, okay, I think you do it. I think you can do it if your team is very low utility, very high damage with a lot of physical, right? Like in my magic damage video, there was that G2 draft where they just picked Yasuo and then didn't care that their jungler is supposed to be solo AP because Yasuo plus whatever marksman they're going to pick is exerting too much pressure. I think in that case, it probably shouldn't be your support dealing extra magic damage, because how are you getting utility otherwise? Like, Lux has good utility, but I don't know, it's complex. Like, the rules aren't locked in, they aren't like written in stone, right? Yeah. Okay, other skill, other CC that lasts long enough to confirm, like, oh, yeah, Renekton W, probably, I think Pantheon W does. Fiddle Fear crosses that very quickly. Lulu Polymorph just got nerfed, so it's at rank 3, not rank 2. Does Ignite proc Eve W? I have no idea. Why, are we planning Eve mid? Eve support? Are we maniacs? Don't threaten me with a good time. Okay, Blue Smite does, but does Red Smite. I think that's the... Evelyn's next basic attack or ability, then technically it shouldn't, right? I don't know, TLDR. I personally don't think... I mean, we don't have Evelyn players. Really needed buffs. But these could be exploited in very weird, very niche ways. We probably don't need to talk about Evelyn too much. DPS up. Nice! She can probably... she's probably better at finding pre-6 ganks now. Actually, yeah, she's better at finding pre-6 ganks now. Which is good. It's good. Whenever you have a herbivore that, like, gains extra value from... Or it's like, whenever you have a herbivore who's, like, really rewarded for finding their early ganks. It's kind of nice. Is there a distinction between Blue and Red Smite in preseason? No, there is not. Everything is Chilling Smite. Well, Primal Smite and Avatar Smite, but... Gwen hasn't been scary. So, okay, my teammates were saying that Gwen is, like, really weak right now. Is that actually true? Have I just been, like, completely out of the loop on Gwen? Because her last set of changes were... Her last set of changes were a nerf. Like, it converted some of the true damage into magic damage, right? Yeah. And I know she is significantly less scary, but what I said about her before was... It's a meaningful damage reduction because Gwen's direct laner should be itemizing for MR, but no significant change for any case without defensive itemization. That actually checks out completely. That makes sense. Me getting one shot by the Gwen, I experienced no change because I'm Senna and I'm not building magic resistance. But the laner... Okay, so her lane did become significantly harder then. That makes sense. Okay, well, Gwen always has a terrible, terrible, terrible solo queue win rate. Right? She always has a terrible solo queue win rate. And I know, like, Gwen with TP Ignite starts to suck in... Oh! TP Ignite sucks for team fights. TP Ghost sucks for lane. Ghost Ignite is okay, probably, but, like, it's probably the best solo queue thing to do. Okay, so, basically, I wrote on 12:15 that it is a significant damage reduction, but I didn't really... properly understand how bad that was. This makes it very, very hard for her to scale into her real power, and her dual potential is worse. So she probably became a counterpick to certain squishy champions, right? Yeah, I remember playing Gwen not too long ago, and kicking myself for not taking Ghost. It just felt so bad. Okay, so now that we've contextualized Gwen's current state, thank you, past Quinn, for writing those notes. Very handy. Damage per snip. It is up 4 damage, and the final snip damage is up, like... Okay. If Gwen fell off due to a significant damage decrease against her standard durable laners... Because what is this? This is... how much? We get, it's 6 snips, right? Where's my calculator? I'm too lazy to do math. So we just gained 4. Plus another 20. Okay, so Gwen Q just gained 40 damage. Then a damage increase should matter. No, should matter a bit. Plus 40 damage is nice. I don't feel qualified enough. I don't feel informed enough. Okay, so I'm going to need somebody to play Gwen then. I agree. If you pick Gwen into, like, specific melee squishies, right? Like, what can she play into? Well, we can actually find her ideal matchups right now, like, for solo queue. Because I would not be surprised if, like, Irelia or something was fine. Makes sense that Camille is fine. Genuinely surprised that Mordekaiser's, like, fine in current state. He'd be one of the champions who's, like, most happy about the MR. That is really surprising. I guess the scaling handshake does not go in... Because she's been a scaling handshake for such a long time, right? Gwen is another one of those champions that can't really punish her laner super easily early game. Yep. Gwen struggles to punish some laners. That's right. I remember now. It's so easy to just scale alongside Gwen. Okay, I was right. I was right that Irelia is good for her. That's not surprising. That's not surprising at all, actually, in the Yorick matchup. Gwen struggles to punish some laners. So, despite being buffed back a bit, she probably should not be blind picked. Boom! Because if Yorick, like, Yorick is so dependent on his E and Gwen just presses W. That's the critical interaction of the matchup, and Gwen just unambiguously wins it. Jace. What did Jace get? Hey, is that actually useful? That's useful! What?! Only in hammer form. He only has resistances in hammer form, remember. He only has resistances in hammer form. Only has... Okay. Okay. Hammer form resistances now scale with BAD, which means Jace scales more effectively and isn't punished as hard for trying to close kills or to simply play for a huge chunk. No comment on W. Mana buff. Not enough experience with Jace laning. I mean, okay, so it looked insane. It looked insane on paper. It looked insane for a moment. And then I just have to remember it's only hammer. It is only hammer. If Jace just got that forever, that would be amazing. Is the promise of slightly better scaling in terms of durability actually worth Jace's early game? Does this bolster his early game? Hold on. It bolsters it a little bit. It's like, don't forget that the first few resistances you get are the most important, right? Oh, on Jace builds like as much AD as he can get. Jace builds a lot. Don't forget Jace is a Monamune user, which also boosts a decent amount, right? Like, Jace is Eclipse Monamune in most games. Okay, we need armor. We need the formula for armor. Okay. So, current Jace... Let's go to Jace. Let's actually do some math. Let's do some math very quickly to see what the impact of this is going to be. Current Jace, you know, let's be generous. Let's say Jace survives until level 6 and then gets ganked, okay? That's not bad for Jace. Okay. So Jace is going to have 1,020 health. And he's going to have... we'll round up to be generous to him, we'll round up to 42 armor. And because he is level 6... Oh, not that one. We need Transform Hammer. He's getting... Okay, so Jace has 42 plus 15. Jace has 57 armor. And 1,020 health. 1 plus 57 divided by 100 times 1020. Okay, so Jace has 1,600 effective HP when he's getting ganked, right? So now, what's Jace gonna have at that point? Jace would probably have, like, Longsword. I mean, okay, let's be really generous again, okay? Jace is fed. Let's say Jace is fed. And Jace has a Serrated Dirk. And he's picked up a kill. He's plus 30. 57 plus... Because he would have started Longsword, right? He would have started Longsword. Yep. 57 plus 30 times 0.07. That's the new ratio. 0.75. Divided by 100 times 1020 health. Jace would then have... Okay, no. This gives Jace an extra 14 effective HP in that situation. That's nothing. Yep, that's nothing. We were as generous to Jace as possible, and he got 14 health out of it. The ratio is far too small to matter for Jace's early game. This doesn't help him survive more ganks, and so this isn't a huge buff. No, we were as generous to Jace as possible, and it still didn't work out in his favor. That's awesome. E now allows Kennen to exceed the AS cap. No functional on-hit builds really exist right now. But this could be super funny later. Neat. Okay, big one. This could matter a lot. What did Maokai get? He got a 20-second cooldown up on Nature's Grasp. His healing is noticeably lower. 4 to 10 instead of 4.5 to 12. Yeah, and those kinds of cooldowns don't matter too much, because, like... Oh, wait a minute. No, in this case... How much haste does Maokai get? How much haste does Maokai get? Like, even if Maokai only has 20% or 30% cooldown reduction. It's 56 seconds to 70 seconds. It's still up basically every minute. It's up for every fight. Those kinds of nerfs don't really matter in most cases. They matter in solo queue, but they don't matter here. Okay. Low impact RCD nerf at late levels, which doesn't often hurt jungle or support Maokai. Let's be real, guys. We're not getting level 16. We're not getting level 16. Okay, what is this? Healing based on maximum health. 4.5. It is currently... Oops, wrong one. 4.5, 6, 7. So it scales up like 1.5% every level. Or every level that it increases. Now it's just plus 1% every time. The last time Maokai received a Sap Magic ratio nerf, it heavily impacted his top lane above all. Sap Magic low-key is Maokai's most important ability, guys. This could severely harm Sunfire Maokai's ability to function in long fights. Very likely jungle is okay. Loses some flex power. Okay, I am predicting the biggest impact of this change is Maokai losing flex power. That's my prediction. I think Maokai is probably fine. But those changes historically have really, really harmed top lane. That's my prediction. We'll see if that one comes true. We'll try to track Maokai, especially since Maokai is going to be a champion we're talking about often. Speaking of champions to talk about, oh my god, this guy. Increased resistances no longer apply to the flat bonus. Okay, so Rammus got an undocumented change in 12.19. People were talking about that. That sucks. Undocumented change to W, which no longer factors its own 15 or its own 40 bonus armor. Wait, how much did he lose? Guys, was there some recursive nonsense? Because if there wasn't, how was that 5%? That's 24 armor lost at rank 1. Okay, for Rammus in particular, that's big. 24. How much was it? Minoshi, can you get the numbers for me at rank 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5? I'm lazy. Oh, he lost some of the buffs. Each rank is plus 4. Okay, thank you. 24, 28, 32, 36, 40 armor. Oh, duh, because it's multiples of 10. This caused him to lose, which did matter for his damage. Ultimately, that's not that big a deal, right? I mean, Rammus is 40. He settled at 49%, and before he was at 52%. I mean, that's a big deal, but that is a big deal. A bug fix in 12.19 resulted in a sizable nerf. This change was significant. Okay. Rammus. And marginal amounts of MR lost. I mean, yeah, but who cares? It's MR on Rammus. Rammus. Okay. No longer gets self-slowed. Okay. So, this is obviously a big deal. If Rammus no longer slows himself, he now actually has more options. So he can intentionally choose, to sacrifice some damage versus melees to kite them further while taunted. No change to ranged. Rammus can now lead his enemies while W is active, making it harder to escape from the next Q. R is 5% faster. Sorry. R speed scaling increased by 10 or 5%. I mean, Rammus being able to lead you more effectively is scary. Clear speed increases! Oh! Wait! Clear speed increases! Due to better kiting. Yes! That's big! You ain't walking around in your W? Yes, you are. You do want... No, Minoshi, these are marginal... If you're like a challenger jungler, you are melee kiting on them. You are creating, like, slightly extra distance. And this is much better. Especially against Gromp. Oh my god, Gromp. This does have a clear speed increase. Yep. This does have a clear speed increase. Change is probably minor in this department, though. I was really excited for a moment, but yeah, thinking about it more, it probably doesn't create like a lot of optimizations. But you're not just standing still. Like, you're never just standing still. I know how Rammus works, Minoshi. You're never actually standing still. Set is the boss. The boss is always on top. He isn't happy about being in the middle of the pack or the middle of the map. Why are we nerfing mid lane Set? He is, like, he was just a Silas counter pick, no? They're hurting his regen? What? Okay. So, MR and base regen down. Oh, but that's only until 6. Hit Brit AD ratio increased. What does this mean? What does this mean for us? What does this mean for us? What does this mean for us? I'm trying to think, like, cause set is just a gigantic ball of stats in the top lane, right? His trading patterns are not complex, and it's very binary whether you are vulnerable to Set or whether you are not. Right? I remember playing Shen, and I had no options because I didn't really have like the top lane trifecta of range, reach, mobility, base stats. Those are what can make you strong early game, right? Set had overwhelming base stats, and then also you didn't love trading into him. It does. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how much it should. Why would I overthink this? Why would I overthink this? Why would I overthink this? I have such a bad overthinking problem. No, it hurts, so we should check how much it works. Like, it hurts. Check how much this matters. Okay, cool. Wow. Right punch AD ratio increasing by 5%. Rewards high AS AD builds. Extra stride value? Like, there's not a lot of champions that value Stride Breaker over Gore Drinker right now. Set historically has been one of the ones that has it as an option. I don't know. Maybe I just don't know enough about Set. But maybe I don't need to overthink it. Like this screams to me like maybe Bork Stride is like a little bit better. Bork Stride Sterix, or maybe just go Stride Sterix. Stride Sterix actually probably just sounds amazing right now. Sterix got buffed too, didn't it? Yeah, it did. Okay, Stride Sterix. I mean, he might have just better builds here. Welcome back, Kevbo. Maybe Stride Sterix offsets his nerf a little bit. Pre-6 this is... Oh, we could have also mathed it out. Thank you, Minoshi. Thank you for catching that. Assume average half HP going from 2.5 bonus regen to 1.5 or 2. Ooh, that's bad. That's really bad. That's a lot of regen. Significant... Oops. Regen nerf. Assuming 50% HP... Set goes from... What were the numbers? Yep. Oh, wait a minute. Set loses 1 HP per second. He loses 5 HP 5. Oh, wait a minute. That's not a significant regen nerf at all. Thank you. Worsened at lower HP. I mean, Set's going to be weaker, right? He's going to be weaker. Oh yeah, he's one of those champions where if he's not winning his lane, he's not giving any value. Kind of like Wukong, actually. Speak of the devil. Wait, they're buffing 6. Okay, don't skip ahead. Wukong's damage output is actually greater if he ends his ult before it times out, which feels pretty bad for putting more strength into his ultimate. Oh, you're doing what? You're what? That's a 55% ratio increase on an AD champ. That's a 100% increase over 2 casts. What the... Bonk! That is a 110% AD ratio increase over 2 casts. But why? Okay, so like, I mean, let's look at Wukong's prior nerfs because he got a lot. That makes sense. Is this updated already? Okay, his previous nerfs were... Bev, thank you so much for the raid. I really appreciate it. How are you doing? How's it going, everyone? Lovely to have you all. We're just going over the League of Legends patch notes right now, pretty much. We're trying to study some... We're doing math. I know, it's boring. We already had our best of 5 series earlier today, which I won. I'm very happy about that. Finals next week. Okay, but back to Wukong, right? Wukong received like 4 consecutive nerfs. And they were all targeting his jungle clear, right? Yeah, damage against monsters decreased or reduced, cooldown increased on Cyclone, whatever. He got some regen nerfs, which sucked. He got like this sucked for top lane. He got movement speed on top of that. His attack speed went down. It's like, ugh, he's not doing... Okay, yeah, so he was really doing no damage. So I guess the question we have to ask is this funny big number, like, actually enough? Like, obviously it's good. And Wukong's not necessarily... Wukong's R is... What is it, like 3 seconds? Something like that? Good question. I should know this. 2 seconds. It's 2 seconds. He is chunking you for this much over 2 seconds. I'd say that's more than an auto attack, yeah? Or 2 auto attacks. Don't make me try support Wukong again, no! I'm gonna do it. I know I'm gonna do it. No, don't make me do it. Oh. I don't think it doubles up. I don't think it... Does it double up on damage? Wait, does it? Hang on. No, that's 2 casts. That's 2 casts. See, because it's linked, it's next here, next to the recast. That's 2 casts, not the clone 2. Okay. Okay, good, because that would be insane. That'd be a cool optimization. I mean, Wukong's previous nerfs severely slowed his jungle clear and made his lane phase harder. Loss of regen. Doubtful that raw damage alone can compensate. In jungle, Toph might have some spots. This is extremely valuable for the hyper niche support Wukong angles. No, this is actually such a good support buff. This is such a good support buff. Like the way I've played Wukong before, it's like support Wukong existed for only the circumstances when you had a severe lack of physical damage, you needed that from your support, and Senna was not a viable option. Like, because you can't pick Pyke for your damage. Like, he's not dealing reliable enough damage. Set support has to build full tank. It's like Urgot support is way too conditional. Unironically, I think this is best for support Wukong. I'm not even kidding. I might play it again. I might try it. Okay, Ziggs just very simple. Ziggs, simple plus 10 damage on Q, which is nice for DPS and wave clear. Ziggs priority should probably be increased even before this. I checked. You forgot the Yone Yasuo bot lane, like the true 80 support threat. True! I mean, what else was I testing? What else was I testing? It's so hard to find, like, physical supports, right? Like, what item is good enough? Like with Wukong, I settled on Stride Breaker. I said if I have to have one item throughout the entire game, Stride is probably fine for me. Especially with its utility baked in. Maybe I should be running Gore. Like I know it sucks to not have Sheen, but it is a viable option. What else? What did I test? I mean, like, Trundle has his spots, but he's probably also building Locket Guardian. We were just talking about him earlier, and not, like, in the context of building damage. I tried Ezreal at one point, and it felt good in combat, but the problem is, like, you realistically can't keep your passive going without screwing up your wave. Camille is really weak. There's Ares support J4, true, but you can't build physical like that, right? That's a Spell Thief's build. Jarvan, here, I've actually said this. If they ever introduced a discount utility Iron Spike item, right? They made an Iron Spike item that was literally just, like, intended to create AD supports. Jarvan would be all over that immediately. And Jarvan would probably be a good support. I don't know if the itemization exists for him right now, though. Like, Jarvan is a very low econ champion, yes, but when he's noticeably behind the curve because he's a support, is Gore enough? Like, I don't like Gore. I really, really do prefer Sunfire or Chemtank right now for him. Maybe Chemtank is okay, but then you're not actually outputting the damage that you want from this specific problem that we're having, right? Like, the theoretical problem is that your team actually needs physical damage. And if Gore Jarvan is just weaker than Tank Jarvan in general, then we have a problem again. Bard can't do it. Bard is way too magical. Despite, like, RFC builders and... Let's go! Somebody proposed Xinjiao support at one point, and, like, yeah, a pseudo tank is a good candidate. A pseudo tank is a really good candidate, right? It's like if Echo was physical, the Locket's Guardian Echo, or like the Zanya's Guardian. No, but he's Zanya's, right? That doesn't work. But something like that. Like, we want something like Zanya's Echo support, but physical. Talon is too inconsistent. Like, Talon is way too inconsistent. I would imagine his laning is probably too weak. Maybe old Viego? I think Viego runs into the same problem as Pyke, where it's like you're picking him because you want physical damage, but he's not outputting physical damage until you've already killed something. I guess you could... I mean, does it feel good to have a Bork support? Like, ugh. Sunderer would have to be the option. It sucks because the obvious answer is Pantheon, but Pantheon, like, does not feel strong right now. He feels way too binary when he's laning. Like, the obvious answer is just Pantheon. Maybe I should try to re-optimize Pantheon. Yeah, we're looking for stuff like Xinjiao. We're looking for stuff like Gwen. We're looking for stuff like... I mean... Any Juggernaut candidates? Darius would be a combo champion. You would not be allowed to pick that generally. We're looking for like a... I mean, I guess we are looking for a hyper niche, aren't we? Played Kled once. That was funny. Yeah, alright, well... I think it's hard to consider Irelia. No, actually, no, we can't. We can't consider Irelia. The only actual... Because if we're playing our theoretical physical support, then their damage output is still important, right? Irelia can't gain damage without last-hitting creeps. Her passive is too important. Her entire combat pattern relies around killing creeps. Or, like, it revolves around Q resets. I think if we wanted to divorce her from that context, like, I don't think she does enough damage. It's like... I hate that Camille and Pantheon are actually great answers, but they just suck right now. I hate it. I want to solve the Pantheon problem. I want to solve it. Either way, we're really, really sidetracked right now. This is a theory craft for another day. Wukong support slightly better. Cool. Ziggs better. Cool. Let's check the items. What do the items do? Demonic Embrace. Health down 100, AP up 10. So they don't like the pure tank users. Ranged burn damage per tick down 0.2%. How long is the tick? I don't like writing off ideas immediately. I just think Irelia's properties are too much of a deal breaker. Okay, that matters. Rengar, I mean, that's existed before, right? Ancient Coin Rengar. It has merits, maybe. What's its one item spike? Is he good enough on Umbral? Is he good enough on Prowlers? Like... Wait! That one actually has merit. Yes, that one... Okay. I mean, it might not be strong. It might not be strong. But it's at least worth checking out. Because what could we do? We don't even have to... like, remember SOFM Tank Rengar existed at one point. That's not what we're looking for. But, like, in theory, doesn't that imply we could find gore value? Well, in the jungle, no. But people are still trying it. Gorzix support W evolve. Who are range champs using Demonic Embrace right now? Malzahar is like the biggest one for sure. Lilia. That would affect Lilia. Brand. Brand prefers like Brand really likes it when he becomes a bruiser. If you give Brand extra gold, he typically spends it on demonic Rylai's and then tank items. She technically doesn't count. I think her auto range is too long. I think it's like Rakan range, so she doesn't count. I would try this. I would actually try this. I think we should try this. Hey, let's see the win rate. It's gonna be bad, right? 41%. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Okay, so... loses 100 HP in exchange for 8 AP due to passive. Damage down for ranged users. I mean, this is particularly bad for Brand Lilia, but ultimately not that impactful. I think Brand is the biggest loser here. The tanks are definitely not happy with losing 100 HP. Wild damage. Why even nerf it for the ranged users? Like, what? Why even nerf it for them? They weren't the problems. Losing 100 HP hurts always. AP bruisers now have to choose between earlier HP, Rylai's, or damage. Demonic. While Zac and Shogath will probably not stop building this. Other champions will be caught in some crossfire. Ultimately low impact if never taking damage though. Or ultimately, yeah, ultimately low impact. So if you're just already a backline champ, right? I guess it just takes Brand longer to scale into a proper bruiser. Frozen Heart. What's happening to this item? Plus 200 gold, plus 10 armor. Rock solid damage reduction down to 5. Let's compare it to Randuin's, the item you always have to compare it against. Randuin's is becoming much better in preseason, by the way. Okay, so now the same price, now the same armor, now the same rock solid. Now matches Randuin's in price, armor, and rock solid reduction. The only argument between the two is HP versus mana and AS reduction versus crit passive. Until preseason hits, Frozen Heart is still generally better. This will likely not hold for long. That's what I think. Right, because the only reason, I mean, Frozen Heart had a lot of advantages over Randuin's right now. Those are the two items you have to compare. Just everything about this item was better. I'm now really, except like, you know, except armor. Mortal Reminder. What? Why shift around its stats like this? It still competes directly with Phantom Dancer in terms of stats. We're emphasizing its AD component more so it can stand it. It's 20% attack speed, guys! Like, that's 20%, and the only people who want this are Zeal users. What do you mean? 25%. 35%. 45%. 25%. So it actually, you know, it actually had this. I didn't realize Phantom Dancer was so low, but that's because it has its passive, right? 20 AD. This is now going to 35 AD. Okay, no AD, no AD. Okay. Mortal Reminder. Now weirdly the highest AD Zeal item, which is a niche that almost, yeah, a niche that no one asked for. Its attack speed. AS is still by far the worst. And they increased the cost? And they rolled back its Grievous Wounds buffs? Wait. Like, okay, hang on. When did... Wait, when... No, this did... Wait, did this... This came out? Hang on. I forgot about this. Huh. For some reason, I thought that was on PBE right now. Okay. I mean, why? Anyway, either way, it doesn't matter. Your ADC should still not be the one building Grievous in 99% of situations. Increasing the cost is bad. Wow. I don't like that. Sterix, I think this item is criminally underrated right now, by the way. I've been building it when I'm playing stuff like Alawi. Like, it's been an amazing option for Juggernauts for a while now. What are they doing to it? The claws that catch bonus AD is going up. Lifeline shield is going up and lasts longer. It's just better in all circumstances. Bonus AD percentage increased by 5%. Opening the number of viable users slightly. Lifeline shield increasing. is amazing. Both. Amounts up plus 5%. Bonus HP. And duration, which is plus 0.75 seconds, is awesome. Like, maybe this will remind people that the item exists, because I think it's slept on. I think, speaking of Jarvan from earlier, tank item plus Sterak's Jarvan is the best way to build him. I'm very adamant about that. I find the most success on it. I think it's really good. And what's going on here? It's warping the meta to an unhealthy degree. Lethal tempo range down. Okay. Systemic changes. Lethal tempo. Range reduced from 75 to 50 for ranged users. So... Footwork is still in a very nerfed state. Fleet footwork is still relatively weak. Conqueror is fine, but has been outclassed by lethal for a while. The attack speed is still... I mean, who does this actually, like, harm? Who does this kick out of meta? Anyone? It hurts everyone equally. Well, it was big. It was a big deal, Minoshi. Like, it is powerful. Is there anybody, like, trying to... I guess it, like, marginally buffs Misfortune, Senna. It hurts Kai'Sa. Okay. This hurts its lowest range users the most. This hurts its niche... yeah. I think Kai'Sa's probably the most harmed. Right? Makes sense, Kai'Sa. Maw is also usually better, it feels, for Maw versus Sterak's. I mean, it depends on what you're doing in the game, I guess. Let me check it. Well, it's less conditional, right? Maw doesn't give you health. It does give you a lot more resistances, which is good. The shield is pretty tremendous, right? I think it's a pretty reasonable argument to say that Sterak's locks you out of Maw, and that sucks, so you would probably rather go DD Maw in a lot of cases. In the context of being Jarvan, or... True. In the context of being Jarvan, or like a Juggernaut, or like a lot of different top laners, you, like... We can set Aatrox aside, because Aatrox actually gets value from the raw AD, right? But I think there's a lot of situations where it's probably better to go Sterak's into Fawn, if that's what you need. Which, yes, is a greater investment. So let's be clear. There's not a lot of junglers where Sterak's is amazing. Jarvan is actually probably the only one. If you're having a Maw versus Sterak's debate, Maw wins out for anyone who is lower income. That makes sense to me, I think, yeah. But this is really about the top laners. The top laners who are like, what do I want today? Do I want Death Stance? Do I want Sterak's? Do I want Hullbreaker? Do I want... And then they're like, oh, why would I go Hullbreaker when I could build Sterak's? Do I need Maw? Do I need Force of Nature? It's like, you're all so fat that you don't really need Maw as your MR item when Force of Nature is right there. When you're one of the few classes who can go Abyssal Mask situationally, Spirit Visage situationally. Like, I think the conversation can get pretty complex. I'm just going to advocate for it, like, if you're playing Juggernauts and stuff like that. Like, because I'm going to be the Sterak's Gauge salesman. I'm happy with being the Sterak's Gauge salesman. But every time I'm selling something, it's like, you know, it's not right for everyone. It's just right for, I think it is right for more people than we might think. As top laners. Top lane only. No one else allowed. Okay, so to recap, did I even put a star on anybody? This didn't feel like a very big patch, did it? Demonic is big. I think the system changes are the big ones. Like the champion changes, a lot of them kind of didn't matter too much. Oh, Blitz. Yeah, holy shit, Blitzcrank. Woo, I forgot about that one. Yeah, that's a real buff. That's a real buff. Okay, so I like to just put a star in my notes next to like the big changes. It's probably just Blitzcrank, Rammus, Demonic Embrace, Sterix Gauge, and maybe Lethal Tempo. Syndra APC with new Blitz Hob, new meta, let's go! Let's go! The Lethal Tempo change does nothing to top lane where it's also a problem. I wouldn't call it a problem per se. Strong, yes, but problem not really. Like it makes Yone pretty annoying. What you have to realize, Minoshi, is that 25 range actually does a lot for making 80 carries easier to kill. I just can't think of anyone who's switching off this rune because of that. I can't think of anyone. How much does this matter? How much does this matter? How much does this matter? I can't find anyone who's like... The guy who takes lethal wins fights early? Yeah, but then you can clap him at, like, 6 in a lot of cases, if you're a conk user with big-ass AD ratios. Like, yeah, if I'm playing Fiora into Yone, then it's very difficult for me to fight the Yone early. But that's fine, I have windows coming later. Like, why would I contest him at 1 to 3 when his keystone is by far stronger than mine? And when his kit just has more uptime than mine? I should just wait, like... And the whole like, Kale beats Darius level 1 thing, that's literally just level 1. I struggle to find champions in top lane who take lethal tempo for the sake of taking lethal tempo. Because if it was really that broken, like, auto attackers would be everywhere in top lane. Or the meta would be like just Jax. Oh no, if it was really that broken, Gnar would be taking it. But it's not. It's actually pretty fine. Like, Akshan's not taking it, and he would gain value from that, no? I guess we're thinking more about the, like, melee users who gain a lot more from it. But then, like, if it's really that broken, why is... I mean, if it's really that broken, then that would become Malphite's default trading keystone. But Malphite still prefers PTA. And, like, Fiora would get this. Fiora's an auto attacker. Why doesn't she run it? So, yes, I mean, lethal tempo early stats can feel bad to play into sometimes, but it's not that bad. What do I do? I find it very difficult to assess item changes sometimes. Cause like behavioral stuff. Oh, absolutely. I like People getting chat restricted for the game in the middle of the game? Yes! Oh, what's coming in? Icons received. Now available. Mythic Chroma, High Noon Senna. Oh, well. Prestige Coven LeBlanc. Prestige Bewitching. Misfortune. I do not care. There's nothing I want in here yet. Oh, yeah, what bug fixes are here? To be fair, those did get you banned. Causing HP VAR. Okay, good. That one's gone. Bugged interaction between Fiora's W and Darius' passive that caused the blade to deal 1 true damage at the end of... Cinder did not gain Splinters of Wrath when getting minion credit from an ally's support item. Wait. Oh, that works? That gives a lot more credibility to, like, maybe not a lot more. I mean, Syndra Bot is starting to sound more appealing than it used to. I'm being won over, guys. I'm being won over. These are all challenge things. Okay, yeah. The Anivia skin rules. The Senna skin's awesome. I love the Nico skin. Yeah, okay. Okay, so... What did I say? I said Aatrox shouldn't matter too much. Akshan shouldn't matter too much. Blitzcrank, humongous clear buff. Elise shouldn't matter too much. It's a small QOL buff. That's nice for Elise players. They'll feel better. It's especially when they don't land Cocoon. Evelyn actually could be big because Charm crosses reliability threshold. The extra damage is nice. Gwen, the damage is nice. I actually would not be surprised if she did get a bit stronger. Right. Jace doesn't look like it's converting to much, but it will be nice if he survives. Kennen, don't really care. Maokai could actually lose a lot of flex potential. Maokai could lose flex potential if Sap Magic is really bad. Rammus looks big. Set loses a lot of regen in early lane phase. I can't really predict the value of his right punch AD ratio increasing. Wukong, humongous R AD ratio increase, but his lane phase is still hard from previous nerfs. His jungle clear is still slow. It'll be niche. Basically, this has to be actually overpowered damage to bring Wukong back. Zig's nice. Demonic Embrace, there's some champions caught in the crossfire. It's going to kind of suck a little bit, but it's still good in its best spots. Tanks, some tanks might care. Zac probably won't. Frozen Heart, still better than Randuin's, but probably won't be after preseason. Mortal Reminder, Keck W. Sterix Gauge, I think it's awesome that it's getting some extra love there. It lasts for a really long time now. Like, the shield is just awesome. And yeah, it is decaying, and you need health, but you gain more value from having less health. You gain more value from having less base AD. Lethal Tempo, this is, this is most likely to cause some meta shifts, but we're also not in a hyper carry meta right now. Okay. Oh, true. He's allowed to run away. I'm actually going to write that down, too. Now more able to run away after initiating. Becomes more of a low HP nuisance. I like it when champions are nuisances. Okay. Well, that's all. That's my initial assessment of the patch. I'm not going to be able to spend a lot of time, like, playing with this patch in particular, so I'm going to have to... Oh, right, science team. I'm getting my study group server ready for the public, guys. It's almost ready. I'll tell you guys about it when it is. Yeah. Okay, I have nothing more to say. That's going to be the end of the stream tonight, guys. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Had a lot of fun winning a series. That's awesome. I feel like we got a reasonable read on the patch. I'm gonna sleep on the 80 carry thing, like the lethal tempo thing. Yeah. It hurts everyone. It doesn't hurt everyone equally. It hurts all the lethal tempo users equally. Okay, yep. Tomorrow should be Kazante. I've run out of brain. Okay, bye everyone. Don't forget to love yourselves, respect each other. I'll see you all later. Take care.